Hello there, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Samantha and this is my channel where I talk all about books. Today I'm coming to you with a 5-star prediction video. I've made 2 of these in the past, I think, so I'll link them both down below and up in the card in case you are interested, but I've only actually finished all of the books for one of them. I made a video like this in December of 2019 and I still haven't finished all of the books for it, so I'm really hoping to read all of those books and react to that one at some point, hopefully soon. I've basically been having kind of like an average reading year. Like, a lot of the books that I've read I just haven't really felt particularly passionate about, so I wanted to make a list of 10 books that I think I'm really going to enjoy, so that then if I'm in the same situation where all of the books I'm reading are just okay, then I can reflect on my 5-star predictions and pick up one of those or all of them and hopefully have a bunch of really great books and possibly new favorites. So yes, I thought that because I've had such an average reading year, it would be the perfect time to do another one of these. I'm just going to talk about 10 books which I really think I'm going to love. For some of these, I don't know the plot that much because I like to go into books not knowing that much about them. I kind of hear the buzzwords and that's about it. So as always, I will link the Goodreads pages for all of these books down below so that you can either add them to your TBR or just learn more about them because I'm not very good at remembering synopses. With that being said, let's just get into the 10 books that I think I'm going to rate 5 stars. So the first one that I have on my list is The Fifth Season by N.K. Jemisin. I don't know a ton about this book apart from the fact that it is super popular. Especially last year, I heard everybody talking about this book and raving about it. So I bought this in, I think, September of last year, and I haven't picked it up yet because I'm so intimidated by it because this is an adult fantasy book. I know that much, and I know that it deals with kind of like the end of the world. Like, I think there have been like these 4 seasons before the world has kind of ended or something like that, and this is the 5th one. And what I do know about this book is that the first like 100 pages are told in second person, or maybe it's all told in second person, but I don't know. I've always heard that the first 100 pages you will not know what is going on, and you have to give it that 100 pages to actually like get really invested into it. So that's why I've been kind of like put off by this, because during university and stuff I just knew that I did not have the brain power to commit to that. So I'm hoping to read this one at some point, maybe in like September or October time, something like that. But yeah, I do think I'm really gonna enjoy this one when I read it. It's just making myself read it, which is the challenge. I do think I'm gonna love it and give it 5 stars, so I hope so. I'm also just really excited to read other stuff by N.K. Jemisin as well, because I've heard that her books are just like phenomenal. I really like the sound of The City We Became, and just like all her books sound super interesting to me, but I think I'll start with this one because I already own it. So yeah, I really need to get on this one. Next on my list, we're switching gears entirely, and the next 5-star prediction I have is Beach Read by Emily Henry. I know that everybody read this book last summer and they raved about it, and I still have not read it, and I'm so mad at myself because I have the ebook on my Kindle, well, Kindle app. I don't actually have a Kindle, but that's something I really need to invest in. But anyway, whatever. On the Kindle app, I have the ebook of Beach Read, and I've heard that it's just like very cute, but also a little bit heavier than your typical romance. Like, it's not just a cute, fluffy rom-com. It's also got some heavier themes in it. I don't know. I just really think I'm going to enjoy this one. I already have the ebook, so I'm really hoping to read this one pretty soon. I'm actually going on a cruise in August, so maybe when I'm on the cruise, I will read this book finally, because I'm not planning to take any physical books with me, so I'll have to read ebooks. So that would actually be the perfect time to read Beach Read. So if I have time during that cruise, I'm gonna read Beach Read. It's happening. I am committing to this. The next one on my list is one that came out last autumn, and I have been dying to read it. Like, I really wanted to buy this book, but it kept on being out of stock everywhere, and I was like, how am I gonna get this book? And my library didn't have it, but now my library does have it. I'm definitely planning to read this book in October. That book is Cemetery Boys by Aiden Thomas. All I know about this book is that it follows our main character, whose name I can't remember, and he is trying to prove to his family that he is a real brujo. So he ends up trying to summon the ghost of like his, I think his dead cousin, but he ends up accidentally summoning the ghost of a boy from his high school who died. And I don't know, I just think it sounds like so fun and a little bit spooky because, you know, ghosts. So I'm hoping to read this in October time because I meant to read it last October and I didn't get around to it. I've just heard like such great things about it. I've really been meaning to read this one forever. So yeah, hopefully I can get to that one in October time. That's my plan. So the next one on my list is The X Talk by Rachel Lynn Solomon. I'm gonna be honest with you, I actually have already read this book, but I put it on this list and I don't have another one to replace it with. So I'm just gonna talk about it as if I haven't already read it. I think I'm gonna rate this book 5 stars because it just sounds so cute and so fun. It basically follows our two main characters, Shay and Dominic, who both work at this radio station. They don't like each other, but the station isn't doing too well, so they come up with some new shows to introduce. One of the shows is called The X Talk, and it's basically, the idea is to have two exes talking about what went wrong in their relationship and giving out relationship advice to other people. I just think it sounds really cute and fun, and I did read this book and I really enjoyed it. I gave it 4.5 out of 5 stars, but let's pretend like I know I'm gonna give it 5 stars. Even though I didn't, but it's fine. The next book on my list is The Rose Code by Quinn, which, as you can see, I've already got from the library, and I'm definitely reading this book very soon because I'm so freaking excited about it. I, again, don't know that much about this book. I know that it follows 3 women who are code breakers during World War II in England, and there's some sort of like thriller aspect to it as well, and also it's told partially in 1940 and partially in 1947. Anyway, so yeah, these 3 women are code breakers, and there is some sort of like mystery aspect going on as well. And in the 1947 timeline, one of the 3 women is in like an insane asylum and is trying to like figure out why. I don't know, I heard Noelle 7 Pages rave about this book. I already really wanted to read it, and then she gave it this glowing review and explained it so well that I was like, I must read this book. So the next time I was in the library, I had to take it out, and yeah, I think I'm gonna give this one 5 stars. I hope. I love World War II historical fiction, so I think I'm gonna love it. We'll see. I'm really excited to read it at some point very soon, but it is so thick. It's like 600 and something pages. Just very, very excited to read it at some point very soon, and I think I'm gonna give it 5 stars. The next book on my list is Raybearer by Ifueko. This book came out last year. I was lucky enough to get a chapter sampler of this book from NetGalley back when I still used NetGalley. I don't anymore, but I used to use NetGalley, and I got a sampler of the first 8 chapters, and I loved this book. This book was like top tier, and also the British cover is like the most beautiful thing I have ever seen in my entire life. Can I remember what this book is about? Not massively. I know that it follows our main character, and she is sent off to go and be like a companion to the like king, to the king to be, not like a companion, but okay, no, it's coming back to me. They're called Raybearers, and they kind of have this like mental connection with the like king. And so when they're at a very young age, a bunch of them are sent off to go and like be his Raybearers, and I think there are like 8 of them or something like that. I'm not doing a good job of explaining this, even though I remember it. Anyway, but yeah, so this girl, she basically has to do what she's told to do. If she's told it by her mother, I think, and her mother tells her that she has to kill the king. So she's sent off to go be this Raybearer, and she knows that she has to kill this king. And yeah, I know that it starts off when they're like 12, so I originally thought it was in middle grade, but then there is a time jump, and I think I cut off right where the time jump was. Anyway, I need to get this book from the library or buy it because it sounds so good, and I loved the chapter sampler that I got. So yeah, this is one that I have to get to it really, really soon, and I'm so excited to read it because it just sounds so freaking good. I think it's gonna be a 5-star read, and I don't know why I haven't read it yet. Actually, I do know. It's because I've been trying to work through the books that I already own, but I just need to make an exception because this sounds so good. Moving on, the next book that I have to talk about is The Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefvater, a throwback to 2014 booktube when this was all the rage. I actually have already read this book. I read this book back in 2014 when it was all the rage, but I used to be more of a like plot-driven reader, and this book doesn't really have much of a plot. It's very much a character-based story. Basically follows our main character Blue, who lives with her family, who are all kind of like psychics. Like they all sort of have some sort of power, and Blue doesn't have any powers, but she sort of acts as like a what's the word I'm looking for, like a conduit. How do you say that word? She helps amplify her family's powers, if that makes sense, but she doesn't have powers of her own. She's told that she has a curse. If she kisses her true love, he dies. And her path crosses with these boys called the Raven Boys that go to the school nearby, and they're obsessed with ley lines and stuff like that. I'm doing a terrible job explaining this. She meets the Raven Boys and things happen from there. I only ever read the first book because I didn't love it, because I was expecting more of a plot. But now that I know that it's more of a character-based story, I really think I'm going to enjoy this one a lot more. So I'm definitely planning to read this in like October, November time. Just curl up in the cold, even though I hate the cold, but like I'm romanticizing it in my head right now. Curl up in my bed when it's raining outside with a big old cup of tea and this book, and I'm really excited for that. The next book on my list is Legendborn by Tracy Deonn. I have the ebook of this, and I have heard literally nothing but amazing things about this. I don't entirely know what it's about, but I'm pretty sure it's actually more so a new adult than a young adult because of the character's age. Like I think it's her first year in university, and it's kind of like a King Arthur retelling in a way. And yeah, she goes to this university and like all this stuff starts happening, and as per usual, I don't know, but I think it sounds so good. Like a new adult fantasy at a university setting like just sounds top tier to me, and I've heard nothing but good things. So yeah, I need to get to this one because, as I said, I already have the ebook. Maybe this is another one that I'm gonna read on my cruise. I don't know, but I'm really excited to get to it at some point because it sounds just so good. I look like trash, but I just want to say I looked it up on Goodreads, and it is not a new adult. It is a King Arthur retelling, but it is definitely a young adult. The main character is 16, so not a new adult. The next one on my list I am actually currently reading, and sadly I don't think it's going to be a 5-star, but we'll see. But that is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by Schwab, the book that everyone talked about last year, and I am only just getting to it. This book follows our main character, Addie LaRue, who makes a deal with the devil, kind of, to be able to live forever. But the catch is that no one remembers her until she meets this guy called Henry who does remember her. And that's the basic premise, but really not that much happens in this book, or at least not that I've found. So yeah, the premise of the book sounded so good and it's had such great reviews that I really thought that this would be a definite 5 stars, but now I'm not so sure. I'm like 200 pages from the end, and I don't know where I'm sitting at with it right now, but she could pull it out of the bag and have a fantastic ending, so I don't want to make any decisions yet, which is why I'm still keeping this on my 5-star prediction list, even though I don't know if it's gonna be 5 stars. But yeah, that is this book. And the final book on my list is another fantasy, which I have been meaning to read for such a long time because I heard Elena from Elena the Great raving about this book last year, and again I bought the ebook because it was on sale, and I was like, I love ebooks because I really do love ebooks. Anyway, but yeah, this is another fantasy book, and it is Jade City by Fonda. Do I know what happens in this series? Not really. I know that it is an adult fantasy trilogy. Apparently the fight scenes in this series are really good. I cannot for the life of me remember because I am the worst. Maybe I should have actually looked up a synopsis before filming this, but it's fine. Anyway, I do know that this book sounds really good from what I've heard about it, which I've now forgotten, but if I spent my money on it, you know, I thought it sounded good. Okay, I offered no synopsis there at all. This book basically is set in this world where there's kind of like 2 families that are kind of at war with each other over this magical jade, which gives people special abilities, and there's a war between 2 different clans, but it's kind of like post-war, but then tensions are rising again. Anyway, that's still a bad synopsis, but at least it's something. I think it sounds really good. And I'm pretty sure that the 3rd book is coming out this year, so hopefully I'll get to it very soon, give it 5 stars, read the other 2 books, because that's the one problem with fantasy, is that like I hate when only 1 book is out, because then I have to wait for the next one, and then I have to reread the first one, and then I have to wait for the next one, and then I have to reread the first 2, and I prefer to just binge my fantasy series, which is part of the reason why I haven't picked this up yet, but I'm really hoping to do so soon because, as I said, I think I'm gonna give this 5 stars. I think I'm gonna love it. I hope so. But yeah, those are all of my 5-star predictions. I know that like I didn't even know that much about them, but I still think that like judging off of everything I've heard about them before and the reviews that I've heard from people I trust, I do think I'm gonna love all of these books. I hope. Let me know if you've read any of these books and your thoughts on them down below. If you think I'm gonna rate them 5 stars, or if you think I'm wrong, because I could be wrong. I was definitely wrong with some of my last 5-star predictions. I actually had a 1 star in there, but I need to finish reading those books so that I can react to that video. So I'll do that at some point soon, I hope. But anyway, let me know some of your 5-star predictions down below. Let me know if you've read my 5-star predictions. I want to know your thoughts, your opinions, your feelings. But that's all that I have for this video. I hope you liked it. If you did, please give a thumbs up. If you're new here, feel free to subscribe down below, and I will have another video up at some point very soon, I hope. So I will see you whenever that is. Thanks so much for watching, and if you got this far in the video, just leave me like a star emoji down below. And yeah, I'll see you very soon. Bye.